Om Namo Vaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today is a glorious day of Hanuman Jayanti. And the West have their Batman or Superman. We have Hanuman. So today we'll talk about Hanuman. And later, maybe Prabhupada can do Hanuman Chalisa. We just did it once and beautifully recited by Karuna. Thank you very much. So we'd like to seek the blessings of Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, so that we can glorify the wonderful devotee, Hanuman, wonderful devotee of Lord Ram. So this is in this 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 2 verses. Paduke parato agri naj jamara vyaja nota tame vibhishana sashugriva Sweta Chatram Marutsuta Tanur Nishanga Chatur Gna Sita Tita Kamandalum Avibrahat Brad Angada Kagam Hainam Karam Charmyaksha Rannipa. So the translation, O King, Lord Bharat carried Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes. Shukdev and Vibhishan carried a whisk and an excellent fan. Hanuman carried a white umbrella. Shatrughan carried a bow and 2 quivers. Sita Devi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angad carried a sword, and Jambavan, king of Rakshasas, carried a golden shield. So this is an example, Hanuman there with the umbrella, and Sita Devi with the pot. Nice painting, reflecting that verse. So who is this Hanuman? There is one of the immortals. There are 8 immortal beings who still live in this world, known as Chiranjeev. They have material bodies and have either been cursed or blessed to live a long life. They're as follows. Ashwatthama, he was cursed. King Bali, Vedvyas, Hanuman. So Hanuman is one of the Chiranjeevis. Vibhishan, Kripacharya, Pashuram, and Rishi Markandeya. Okay, so Hanuman is the son of Keshari and Anjana. Anjana was once a heavenly maiden who was cursed to be a monkey woman by a powerful holy sage who had transformed into a monkey to do his spiritual meditation. She would be relieved from the curse only if she gave birth to a mighty son, incarnation of Lord Shiva. So Hanuman is regarded to be jointly incarnation of Lord Shiva and also Vayu. Anjana did great austerities and pleased Lord Shiva, who blessed her with an immortal son. When Vayu was delivering the sweet rice to Maharaj Dashrath, at the same time he also delivered Lord Shiva's divine sweet rice to Anjana and blessed her with the son, with his and Shiva's qualities. Anjana gave birth to a monkey-faced child, named him as Anjaneya, meaning son of Anjana. No sooner Anjana was released from her curse and wished to return back to heaven, Hanuman's father took care of Anjaneya, and he grew up to become a strong but mischievous young boy. So this is a wonderful appearance pastime of Hanuman. So Valmiki Ramayana is arranged into the following khandas: Balkhand, Ayodhya Khand. So Balkhand is the youth, Ayodhya is whilst they were in Ayodhya, Aranya, book of the forest, Nishkinda Khand, the empire of the holy monkeys, Sundarkhand, book of beauty, Yuddhakhand, book of war, Uttarakhand, the conclusion. So Hanuman first appears in the beginning of the 4th book, Nishkinda Khand, initially playing a minor role. as one of the 5 emissaries sent by the monkey king Sugriv to discover the identity and intentions of Ram. Towards the close of Kishkinda, however, it became clear that Hanuman is no small character, and in the next book, Sundarkand, Hanuman dominates the stage. His beauty, Valmiki named Sundar Beauty because of Hanuman. This is quite amazing. This is another type of monkey seen a lot in Vrindavan. He dominates the stage with his speed, his strength, his wisdom, his courage, and devotion. There are many lessons for us to learn from the glorious pastimes of Hanuman. In Uttarakhand, so that's the conclusion, the sage Valmiki tells of Hanuman's birth and childhood pastimes. As a young child, Hanuman once mistook the sun for a fruit. When Hanuman tried to capture the sun, the demigod Indra knocked Hanuman down and broke his jaw with a thunderbolt. This made Vayu very angry. So I think the name Hanuman comes from the fact that his jaw is broken by Indra. Hanuman's compassionate father, the wind god, then induced other devatas to shower Hanuman with extraordinary boons, accounting for his well-known physical prowess and supernatural abilities. In youth, Hanuman playfully vandalized the ashram of forest ascetics, who reacted by cursing him to forget his powers until he was reminded of those great powers. Hanuman would then come into his own and use his powers for the ultimate good of all and serve Lord Ramachandra. So that's why he wouldn't sometimes remember his own strength. Somebody would have to remind him. Sugriv sent Hanuman to check the motives of Ram and Lakshman. Hanuman, disguised as a Brahmin, spoke very eloquently to Ram. As soon as Ram spoke, Hanuman recognized him as his Lord. Eventually introduced Ram to Sugriv, and many things happened. Sugriva asked Ramachandra to prove himself, because Ram said, I can become your ally, you can help me find Sita. And Sugriva was thinking, this is just an ordinary human being. But then Ram showed his prowess to Sugriv, which convinced Sugriv that this is somebody very special. And then eventually Sugriv, who had a problem with his brother, Vali, Ramachandra helped Sugriv defeat Vali. And he did it in such a way which was very unusual. He shot him in the back when they were fighting he was fighting with Sugriv. And then Bali said to Ram, why did you do this? You become infamous for doing this. And Ramachandra said, no, actually, you are a culprit. You've done so much wrong. And as the representative of the king, my duty is to punish you. When Vali accepted that, and he realized this is no other than the Lord himself, and he attained the spiritual world. Hanuman later reminded Sugriv of his obligations towards Ram, because the rainy season had started and they didn't go looking for Sita. And after the rainy season finished, Hanuman went again to Sugriv and reminded him, hey, we have to serve the Lord. Ram, he gave Hanuman his ring to show Sita. And eventually, Hanuman's party was successful in finding Sita via Sampati. Sampati was the brother of Jatayu, who informed Hanuman that Sita is held captive in Lanka. This is the pastime of the ring. Jambavan then, because they were thinking how to go to Lanka, it's so difficult. But Jambavan reminded Hanuman, you're very powerful. And this is the great lesson of a leader, how to learn from Jambavan. he could have taken the credit and said to everybody, I'm the one who reminded Hanuman how he is so strong. But Jambavan was so humble. He said, no, he just stayed in the background. So really great leader. He inspired Hanuman. So that's what leaders do. They inspire others to bring out the best in themselves. And Hanuman climbs a mountain and he flies like an arrow towards Lanka from Rameshwar. And then while he was flying across, there was 3 tests that were handed to him on its way. First one was Naka, the grandfather. He needed to be respected. I can't remember the pastime actually. Anybody remember this pastime? If you do, just unmute. Huh? And then he came across Surasa, boon from Brahma, that anything crossing the ocean will enter her mouth. And Hanuman, he fulfilled that boon. He became tiny. He entered the mouth and he came back out again. And there was a lesson of humility there. Not think less of oneself, but to think of oneself less. A very interesting lesson to learn from that. There you go. Hanuman's in the mouth and out again. And there was Simhika who caught Hanuman's shadow. And lesson there to learn is not to be envious. So Hanuman, he also slapped Lankini, who became happy, as it was foretold that the day a monkey slaps her, she can give up the service of Ravan and go to Ram. So this is very interesting. This is the slap by Hanuman, Lankini. Hanuman sees Tulsi and realizes there is a devotee in Lanka. This is really interesting. Eventually, he finds Mother Sita, and he does it in such an intelligent way. He was looking in all the different palaces, and of course, he didn't see Sita anywhere. He saw many queens, but Sita was not present because Ravan could not force Sita to enter the palace. Otherwise, he would have died. He was cursed. He couldn't force a woman into his place. So he eventually found her in Ashoka Gardens, in one of the palaces. And he didn't directly approach her. He first sat on the tree because he knew that it'll be very... Karuna, yes, go ahead. Yes, it was a mountain, but what was the test that Hanuman had to pass?
The mountain just came in the sea and was high, so that Hanuman couldn't pass through it. And then I don't remember so much.
No, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. He did something because that mountain was somehow related to him, and he showed his respect. Anyway, that's why we'll find out. Anyway, then Hanuman, he sat on the tree because he looked very strange, right? Yes, if he went before Sita Devi, she would have been a little bit frightened. So he was very intelligent. He started chanting the glories of Lord Ram from a top of a tree. And Sita was listening and thinking, wow, who is this chanting the glories of my Lord? So eventually he showed himself. It came very tiny. He was very sensitive, Hanuman. And then he introduced himself and he offered Mother Sita, I can take you back to Ram. And Mother Sita said, no, Hanuman, thank you for coming, but I want you to go back to Ram and ask him to come himself and rescue the demon. Rescue her, and defeat the demon, Ravan. Otherwise, Ramayana would have been an anticlimax if Hanuman had just rescued Sita, because Ram had to come and defeat Ravan. So anyway, then later on, Hanuman got caught by the army of Ravan, taken before Ravan, and Ravan insulted him. But Hanuman is very, very intelligent, and he was a wonderful match for Ravan's insults. Anyway, Ravan ordered Hanuman's tail to be put on fire. And Hanuman said, yeah, go for it. Put my tail on fire. And then he escaped from that prison, that palace rather. And he also saw a wonderful opportunity to set Lanka on fire. So he ran around all of Lanka, jumped around, lighting every area, and it was caught on fire. Of course, if he had done that with Ramachandra knowing, Ram would not have been happy. But what to do? His tail was on fire. He's a monkey. He has to jump around. That's what he did. And the whole of Lanka was on fire. Anyway, he returns to Ram, and his words, he's so intelligent. His first word was found, so that Ram knows, yes, he's successful. Second word was Sita, and the third, last, was I, because he put himself right at the back. So it's really intelligent. And then they march to the ocean, to Rameshwar, and eventually they cross over the ocean into Lanka, and they built the bridge of stones, writing the name of Ram on each stone. Very amazing. And the stones would float in that way. So lessons, what is this? Lesson, doing our very best. So what are the lessons from Hanuman's pastimes? His talent or strength, he used it to the fullest. When Sita Devi was kidnapped, Hanuman jumped and played with playful disregard across thousands of miles of ocean to warn Ravan to release her. This is Hanuman in the court of Ravan. When Ravan refused and launched an attack on him, Hanuman proceeded to kill 80,000 of Ravan's Rakshas soldiers. And then Jambumali, who I presume is one of the sons of Ravan, 7 sons of Ravan's ministers, the 5 commanders of Ravan's army, finally Ravan's own son, Akshaya Kumar. So there's somebody else. Then he set fire to the entire demon city of Lanka. When it was time to go to war, once again, it was Hanuman who took the initiative, directing and participating in the construction of a bridge across the ocean to Lanka. And during the battle, Hanuman carried both Ram and Lakshman on his broad, strong back during confrontations with Ravan and Ravan's deadly son, Indrajit. So this is the pastime of setting his tail on fire and then him flying across everywhere. When Indrajit, he struck him with the black magic in the middle of the night, severely wounding Lakshman and knocking him unconscious. Hanuman headed for the mountains in the Himalayas to bring back the herb to revive Lakshman. He didn't know which route to bring, so he brought the whole mountain. This is the glory of Hanuman. How ridiculous will my meager effort seem next to those of a devotee such as Hanuman? Will Lord Ram even care? So this is an interesting point, because Hanuman is such a great devotee. How can we even compare? But Lord Ramachandra is such a great Lord that when they were building the bridge across the ocean, he noticed a tiny squirrel was taking small particles of dust into the water to assist Lord Ramachandra's bridge. And Hanuman was about to brush this spider out of the way, or squirrel. I think it might have been a squirrel. Anyway, yet Ramachandra, he admonished him. He said, no, Hanuman, give up your pride. Its devotional service his devotional service is as satisfying to me as yours. You are serving me according to your capacity, and the squirrel is serving me according to his capacity. So there you go. There he is, little guy here. And he was filling all the gaps in the between the stones on the bridge. So lesson number 2, caring for others. Hanuman, his many feats of strength did not make him a brute. Rather, he was soft-hearted and caring. So when he jumped across the ocean, he killed many of Ravan's men. He also gently comforted Sita in her distress, giving her Ram's ring to reassure her of his allegiance and promising her that her Lord would come and save her soon. Such care earned him a deep embrace from his master, Ramachandra, upon his return. So this is, Hanuman was such a caring person. He still is, of course, still present. When the battle has ended and Lord Ramachandra had killed Ravan, Hanuman once again visited Sita, who was still in captivity, and he brought life and joy back to her when he told her the good news. He then personally took her to meet Ramachandra. The Lord deeply appreciated such service, favoring Hanuman by presenting him Sita's gold necklace and granting him unflinching, pure devotion to himself, Ram. Hanuman was also very simple, another lesson to learn. Devotees dedicated to doing whatever will please Ram. When Hanuman was delivering Ram's message and ring to Sita while she was being held captive by Ravan, he saw her applying reddish vermilion, the sindu or kumkum, in parting her hair, and he asked what its purpose was. And she said, this is to give Ram a long life and protect him from calamities. Hearing this, Hanuman thought, if a pinch of sindu can protect Ram, how safe will a huge amount keep him? He then promptly covered his entire body with sindu. So you often see Hanuman completely covered in sindu, red. This is the reason. When he returned to the other side of the ocean where Ram was preparing his army of monkey warriors for war, the commander-in-chief Sugriv burst into laughter. Ram, however, gravely asked Hanuman why he had done such a thing. And when Hanuman told him, Ram was deeply moved by his innocent show of bhakti and proclaimed that any devotee who worships Hanuman with Sindhu would receive his mercy and be able to cross all obstacles in bhakti. Very interesting. There you go. Another lesson is the faith in the name of Lord Ram. And it is stated that Ram's name is even more merciful than the Lord himself. Whenever Ram Katha, stories about Ram are recited, Hanuman comes to listen. He makes every endeavor to increase the bliss of Ramachandra's devotees. Both in ancient times and today, the immortal Hanuman has vowed to remain in this world as long as the holy names of Ram are chanted. So there were many other pastimes. He actually met Krishna at one point, and he circumambulated Krishna, and he said, yes, you're the original personality, you've got it, but my Lord is Ram. He met Bhim as well, just before the Mahabharata, and he blessed Bhim with many boons. This is Bhim trying to move Hanuman's tail, but he couldn't do it. So he was a son of Vayu, and Hanuman was also a son of Vayu. So they were both brothers. And Hanuman agreed to be present in the battle at Kurukshetra by being on the flag of Arjuna. He was embraced by Ram when Hanuman returned from Lanka and blessed Hanuman that wherever there is Ram Katha, Hanuman will be present. This is such an amazing picture. Hanuman is such amazing. Once Narad Muni questioned Ram regarding Ram keeps a list of devotees, and Narad said, can I see that list of devotees? And Ram showed him, and he was number 1 on the list, Narad Muni, and Hanuman was not on the list. So Narad Muni said, what list is this? This is a list of devotees who care for me. Oh, then Narad Muni one time met Hanuman. He said, I saw a list which Lord Ramachandra keeps of devotees who always think of him. But you're not on that list, you know that. And then Hanuman said, well, he's got another list. What other list is this? You can ask Ram when you see him. So when Narad Muni went back to Ram one time, he said, I heard you keep a second list. Can I see that list? And Ram showed him that list. Hanuman was on top of the list. So then Narad Muni inquired from Lord Ram, what is this list all about? This is the list of devotees I think about, I care about. So this is the relationship between Ram and Hanuman. It's very difficult to understand. So close, beautiful relationship. And of course, there's the pastime Murari Gupta in Chaitanya Leela, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Murari Gupta, why are you chanting the name of Ram? Give up the name of Ram, chant the name of Krishna. Murari Gupta was such a humble soul. He said to Chaitanya, yes, okay, I will try. All night, he couldn't sleep, couldn't give up the name of Ram. And he came to Chaitanya in the morning and said, I cannot fulfill my promise to you, so I will give up my life. I cannot give up my Ram. I tried very hard, but I can't do it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased and said, no, Murari Gupta, I was just testing you. You are actually Hanuman. So it is very natural that you like the name of Ram. So just finally, it's interesting to compare Prabhupada with Hanuman. Like Hanuman was inspired by Jambavan, Prabhupada was inspired by his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada. Like Jambavan had a vision. Prabhupada was a grihastha, so he thought he could not do anything. But Bhakti Siddhanta had a vision which empowered Prabhupada. That vision was to preach Krishna consciousness throughout the world. Like Hanuman, with a leap of faith, crosses the ocean, passing many tests. Prabhupada also, with a leap of faith, crossed the Atlantic Ocean, and he was tested with heart attacks. And he passed those tests. Like Hanuman, he saw the Tulsi plant. And what is that Tulsi plant? Prabhupada saw the optimistic growth in the hearts of the Americans. So he saw that there's potential for bhakti here. He planted the seed. Like Hanuman, he revived Sita from Lanka. Prabhupada revived bhakti in the West. This is so powerful. Like Hanuman's tail was set on fire, Prabhupada was hampered in so many ways, had no facilities, but he set the world on fire, the Krishna conscious explosion. Like Hanuman used monkeys for the battle, Prabhupada engaged monkeys like us to serve the Lord at the same time, considering himself unworthy. Srila Hanuman ki jai. Shri Hanuman ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I wanted to stop there. Anything else anybody would like to share about Hanuman? Such an amazing personality, such a joyful person to remember, such a character. Okay. Hanuman Jayanti ki jai.
Yeah, I just really enjoyed the story.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you can chant if you like, Hanuman Chalisa?
What now?
Yeah.
I don't mind.